Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Flavor and Fiction. So for those of you who are new to this segment, Flavor and Fiction is where I read a book from my 2023 reading challenge, and then I make a recipe using a food or ingredient mentioned in the book. So this time around, the category was a tearjerker, and I chose Someday Maybe by Onyi and Nwabineli. And the food mentioned in the book was tea sandwiches. So I chose to make the quintessential cucumber sandwich. So we'll give that a little taste test at the end. But first, let's get into the book. So just a trigger warning, if anyone is sensitive to the topics of suicide, just wanted to let you know. This book starts off with Eve, the protagonist. She discovers her husband's body in their home after he has taken his own life. And it follows the aftermath of her grief. Eve is a Nigerian woman and he was a Caucasian man. And that plays somewhat a part of this story, especially when it comes to her family and how they rally around her and all the things they do to try to get her out of her grief. Meanwhile, she's just trying to sit in her grief for a little while. Like, she can't even get out of bed for a few days. She's trying to wrap her head around what's happened. She's trying to deal with his mother, who is being difficult. Her husband was born into a uber rich family, and he chose to leave all of that to be with her because the mother put her foot down. And he decided to leave that world. He wanted to stand out on his own. He's a photographer, and he was just starting to become like semi-famous, like pretty well known when all of this happened. So she's racking her brain to think like, why did he do this? It can't be his career because he was just taking off. So maybe it was me. She's internalizing all of her grief. Her sister and brother and her parents are all surrounding her. She doesn't have any children. They're all surrounding her, trying to pull her out. And, they're catering to her up until a point. But then when they feel that she should be out of her grief, they're kind of doing a little more tough love. And that's not working for her. And she's trying to get across to them, listen, you have to let me sit in my grief. You have to let me process it. I'll do what I want to do. And so she tries to go back to work. She takes some painting classes. She tries to, when she can function, she tries to do all these things, but then the memories of the incident keep flooding back. She keeps going through their life thinking were we ever really happy? Was he just pretending to be happy? She searched high and low for a note and couldn't find anything. So she's just having a hard time reconciling their entire life together, not just being without him. So it's just pain on top of grief, on top of guilt, on top of anger, on top of everything. And this book is really just it's really a guide almost on how to allow yourself to grieve and then how to pick yourself back up. Because no matter who's around you, even people who love you, who are trying really hard to help you through this, and that's important to have people around you, it still in the end is up to you to get to a point to say, enough is enough. I have to get back into life. I have to try again. So this was really a very poignant book. I believe that this was a debut novel. So, kudos to the author. It was really well written. It definitely is a tearjerker. But that as soon as you open the book and read the first paragraph, you know what you're expecting. So I love books like that where exactly what's happening up front. And it's just the journey kind of starting backward leading up to that point. And also, there is a big plot twist in the middle of the book, but I'm not going to spoil that. But it's worth the read. So I definitely recommend it. Excuse me. And what we're going to do now is try these sandwiches. First, I'm going to show you the little video of me making them. So I'll do that here. You're going to start by shredding some strips out of your cucumber. And then you're going to slice it into very thin slices. I decided to use my mandolin for that. Then in a bowl, you're going to have your softened cream cheese. You're going to add in a couple tablespoons of mayo, Put in a little dill to your liking, followed by some chives and a little lemon juice, garlic powder, not too much. And then when you mix it all up, it should look like this. Not too pretty, but hopefully tasty. I didn't cut my bread too well. I need sharper knives. And put on your cucumber with a little pepper. Put the spread on the other slice. And then you have your little cucumber sandwiches. Okay, so that was the process. Here they are, a little messy looking, but you know what? It's fine. And also, I poured, well, I didn't pour. I brought over this little saucer and teacup to make it look like I was having tea with my tea sandwich. Nothing's in here, by the way. But, you know, you got to look fancy. Okay, so let's give these a try. Okay. It's not terrible. That's the best I could say. But I think I know what part of the problem is. So I cut the ingredients in half. Like I made half of, you know, the amount. But I accidentally put in the full amount of garlic powder. So I'm tasting that a little heavy. But aside from that, I think if I had cut back on that garlic, these really aren't bad. Like I could sit with some tea and eat my little cucumber sandwiches. So yeah, but definitely the book was better than the recipe, in my personal opinion. If you're interested in the book or the recipe, I'll have a link to both in the description below. So check them out. And thanks for tuning in for this episode of Flavor and Fiction. Happy reading and happy eating.